Hi everyone, and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I have another easy and delicious dinner recipe for you, and I'll be showing you how I make my chicken noodle soup. I absolutely love this soup. It's really hearty and warming, especially for the cold winter months, but really it's great any time of the year. We're going to start out by making a really delicious chicken broth using some bone-in chicken meat. We're going to add some celery and onions and carrots and let that cook away. It's going to create the most aromatic and delicious broth. We're going to add in some noodles at the end. You guys are going to love everything about this amazing soup. And another thing I love about this recipe is everything comes together in just one pot. So I'm going to preheat my soup pot over medium heat, add a little bit of oil. Today I'm using some avocado oil, and I'm going to add in my aromatics. So my celery, carrots, and onion, just drop them into the pot. I have 2 celery sticks that I've diced. I have 1 extra large sweet onion, and I've also chopped up 2 large carrots. And just toss everything together. Make sure you have a well combined mixture. And I also like to add in a few tablespoons of butter. This is totally optional. I just love the flavor that the butter imparts to this mixture. So I'm just gonna let that butter melt. And I'm going to sweat this mixture for about 5 minutes. I don't need the onions or the carrots to be caramelized. You just want them to be nicely softened. Next, I'm going to add in half a cup of white wine, and I'm going to let this wine cook for about 2 to 3 minutes. I'll also add in about a teaspoon of ground black pepper and season this with about a teaspoon and a half of salt. Just season it to your taste. And I'm also going to add in a teaspoon and a half of herb de Provence. I love this mixture. It's so great for so many different recipes. It has dried basil, thyme, rosemary, lavender, a couple other things. It's a really great mixture to add to any soups. And this next spice is optional. I'm going to add in just half a teaspoon of paprika. It's going to give the soup a little bit more flavor and also a bit of color. And I'm going to pour in 6 cups of chicken broth and 6 cups of water. And now that I have my broth all done, I'm heating it up. I want it to come up to a simmer. Let's talk about the chicken. So I really like to use bone-in chicken for this recipe. It just makes it so delicious and aromatic. And what I like to do is just buy a small fryer chicken and then break it down. And I usually don't use chicken breast in my chicken noodle soup. I just don't like, it's a little bit drier, so I just save the chicken breast for a different recipe. But I do have the chicken carcass, which I'm going to add in there. And I also have 2 chicken drumsticks. I have 2 bone-in chicken thighs, and I'm also going to use the chicken wings. You don't have to necessarily take the meat off of them, but they're really great to add into the soup to add more flavor. So let's go ahead and add this into the soup. Drop this chicken carcass into there. Chicken drumsticks, chicken thigh, and the chicken wings. And now that my chicken is in the soup, I'm going to cover my pot with a lid and bring the soup up to a boil over high heat. Once it's boiling, go ahead and reduce the heat to low and just let it slowly simmer away, anywhere from 30 minutes to 1 hour. So if you have just 30 minutes, it will be fine. But if you have an hour, that's even better because it's going to be even more flavorful. And this chicken soup is starting to smell so incredible. So I've simmered this for a little bit over an hour. I'm just gonna grab some kitchen tongs and remove all the meat into a separate glass bowl. And now that I have my chicken out of the broth, I'm just gonna grab some little tongs and a fork, and I'm actually going to pull away all the meat that's left on the bones and just place it into a clean dish. This meat is gonna be really hot, so you wanna be careful and don't burn yourself. All right, I have all my meat separated. I'm going to break some of those bigger pieces into smaller chunks. And now I'm ready to continue with my soup recipe. So I have this amazing chicken broth, and to that I'm going to add a few cups of noodles. So you can add more or less depending on how many noodles you like. Add that in. Also going to return my chicken to the pot. And I'm going to take this back over to the stovetop, and I'm going to bring this up to a simmer and cook just until the noodles are done. It's gonna be about 7 to 8 minutes. And this chicken noodle soup is all done. For one last ingredient, I'm going to sprinkle in some fresh parsley. It's gonna add a little bit of fresh flavor and some color to the soup. And now it's ready to be enjoyed. I'm going to ladle myself some of the soup. And I wish you guys could smell the aroma. It smells so, so delicious. And that's it, guys, for my hearty and warming chicken noodle soup. I absolutely love how this always turns out. It's just so, so aromatic. For the full recipe and the full printable recipe, head on down into that video description box. I've left a link that will take you over to my website where you can print this recipe off and share it with your family and friends. And now let's dig in and enjoy. And I just love how simple and delicious this is. It's just amazing. This soup is absolutely incredible. There's just so much flavor going on, and that broth is so flavorful. I love combining the chicken broth with the bone-in chicken, and it really intensifies that flavor, and you have a really aromatic broth resulting from that. And I just love all the little additions, the noodles, little bits of the carrots. You cannot ask for a better soup. This one is pretty much perfect. I hope you guys have enjoyed this recipe, and I hope you enjoy it at home. If you do make it, I'd love to see your photos. You can tag me on Instagram with Tatyana's Everyday Food. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time with a new recipe.